Hello and welcome to Online Language Academy. I'm Greg, and in this class we're going to be looking at the conditionals in English. If you want to improve your fluency and increase your confidence speaking English, then Online Language Academy is the choice for you. We have live lessons with native English teachers who really help you with your conversational fluency and confidence. If that's what interests you, then go to onlinelanguageacademy.com for your free class. Okay, let's have a look then at today's lesson, which is the second, third, and mixed conditionals in English. We're going to be looking at each of these three conditionals. We're going to be looking at when to use each one. We're going to be looking at how to construct each one. And we're going to be looking at plenty of examples of each of these conditionals so that you can see it in real life and you can get a good idea of when and how to use them. So let's start with the second conditional. Second conditional we use for improbable or impossible situations. The two typical examples that most people and that you've probably learned are if I won the lottery. Okay, win in the past, won. If I won the lottery, it's very, very improbable. It's maybe impossible if you don't buy a ticket, but it's almost impossible even if you do buy a ticket. So for these situations that are very, very, very improbable or impossible, we use the second conditional. Another typical example is if I were you. If I were you. I'm not you, okay? I'm me. It's impossible for me to be you. So if I were you, there you go. We use the second conditional for sentences like that. Now, with all of these conditionals, there are two parts to every sentence. The two parts are the condition, which includes the word if. All right, so if blah, 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 then the result, part two is the result. The result is blah, blah, blah. Let's have a look in context. The condition for the second conditional is if past simple. If I won, all right, win, won. If I won, if I had more money, if I were you, if I lived in China. I don't. If I lived in China. All right, hypothetical, improbable situations. The result, we use would. Would. I would play, I would dance, I would sing, I would make, I would do. Okay, would plus the infinitive without to. Let's have a look at some examples to make all of this look normal and sensible for you, okay? So the first situation, the first example is if I won the lottery, I would visit my friend in Australia. If I won the lottery, all right, win, won. It's the past simple. If I won the lottery, and the result is I would visit, all right, I would visit my friend in Australia. Just a word on the result there. We can also say I'd. Use the contraction. When we're speaking English, we want to make contractions as much as possible. So instead of saying I would, we often say I'd. The next example then. If I were a giraffe, I'm not a giraffe. If I were a giraffe, all right, super impossible. If I were a giraffe, I would have a very long neck. If I were a giraffe, I would have, or I'd have, a very long neck. If I were you, again, I'm not you, I'm me. Hi. But if I were you, I'd take the job. If I were you, I'd take the job. A very common construction when you're giving advice to somebody. If I were you, I'd take the job. Now, you notice were. All right, there you go. Were. It's I am, I was. So why don't we use I was here? Why do we say I were? Well, this is the subjunctive, and that's really, really something we don't use much in English. But in the second conditional, we do. So so it is if I were. And were is the same for every person. All right? If I were, if you were, if she were, if we were, it's always were. So in that respect, it's easy. And what would you do if you had more money? This is a question, and actually I've taken the two parts, the condition and the result, and changed the order. I could say, if you had more money, what would you do? But I've changed the order. It's fine. You can use both. In all of these examples, you can use both orders. It's cool. So what would you do if you had more money? You don't have more money. You have this amount of money. If you had this amount of money, what would you do? Okay. Just one other thing on the second conditional, why it's so easy. If I were a giraffe, I would have a very long neck. If you were a giraffe, you would have a very long neck. If she were a giraffe, she would have a very long neck. The only word that changes is the pronoun. I, you, he, she. Okay? All the other words are the same. So if you get the construction right and in your brain, then it's really quite simple to use. Okay. Let's have a look then at the third conditional. Just before I do this, if you're new here, please come and subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so that you get notified when I publish a new video. And if you like this video, please support my channel and support me with a nice thumbs up. That would be so good of you. All right. Yeah, I normally do these live videos, so there's more interaction usually. Today I had a technical problem, so it's recorded. But yeah, click that bell notification anyway. If you click the bell notification, you will get notified when I go live. Third conditional. We use the third conditional for things that did not happen in the past. Things that didn't happen in the past. We can't go back to the past and change things. Sometimes we want to, but it's not possible. So for things that happened in the past that we cannot change because they've already happened, we use the third conditional. Again, we'll look at some examples which will make this much clearer for you. As with the second conditional, we have two parts. We have the condition and the result. The condition we construct like that. If plus the past perfect. That means if I had gone, if I had eaten, if I had seen, if I had taken. All right? That's the past perfect. And the result is would have plus the past participle. For example, I would have gone, I would have taken, I would have eaten, I would have been. That is the would have plus the past participle. So let's have a look at some examples. And it's great to use for regrets. All right, a regret is something that you look at the past and you think, oh, it would be better if I had acted differently. So let's look. Here's a typical regret. I failed my exam and now I wish I had studied harder. Because if I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. Okay. Next one. Next one, I'm changing the order. All right. I would have gone to the beach yesterday if it hadn't rained. I could say, if it hadn't rained yesterday, I would have gone to the beach. Just change the order. Absolutely fine. Okay, so it did rain yesterday. It rained. All right, I can't go back in time and change that. It's not possible. So if it hadn't rained yesterday, I would have gone to the beach. I would have gone to the beach yesterday if it hadn't rained. I would have been angry if we'd lost the game. I used a couple of contractions there. Instead of I would have, we can say I would have. I would have. I would have been angry if we'd, contraction, we had, we'd. I would have been angry if we'd lost the game. We won the game. That's great. But if we had lost the game, something that didn't happen in the past, I would have been angry. That's my result in the past. If I had seen her, all right, I didn't see her, but if I had seen her, I would have said hello. If I had seen her, I didn't see her, I would have said hello. All right, result of what I would have done in the past. I would have said hello. Of course, I would have said hello, but I didn't see her. If I had seen her, of course, I would have said hello. All right. Think of some examples. Maybe it's a complicated thing because you don't use it enough, because you fear the third conditional. But it's really not that complicated once you get into the habit of using them. Mixed conditional. All right. Now, I'm sure you've been there. You've thought, okay, in English, there's the zero conditional, the first conditional, the second and the third conditional. Boom, 4. Well, I'm afraid we also have an extra one, which is the mixed conditional. And what it is, it's kind of a combination of the second and the third conditionals, which is why we call it the mixed conditional. Now, we use the mixed conditional for, well, let's have a look. Hey, let's have a look. The condition is the same condition as the third conditional, which means something that didn't happen in the past. The result is the same result as the second conditional, and this tells us what the result would be now in the present. So let's have a look. If I had seen her, I would have said hello. This is the third conditional, because the condition happened in the past and the result, which didn't happen, but I'm talking about the past. I would have said hello. Let's imagine that this person, this girl, is somebody I really, really like. I haven't seen her for a long time. She's a very, very good friend. And yeah, if I had seen her, of course, I would have said hello. But today, I would be happy because I saw my friend yesterday. I didn't see her, so I'm not happy now. But if I had seen her, I would be happy. All right? I would be happy. Let's have a look at another example. This is the first example of the mixed conditional. If I had studied harder, all right, again, something that didn't happen in the past. If I had studied harder, I would have a degree now. I would have a degree now. I didn't study hard. I don't have a degree. But hey, in the past, if I had studied harder, now I would have a degree. If I had gone to the beach yesterday, I didn't go to the beach yesterday. If I had gone to the beach yesterday, I would be tanned. I would be nice and brown. I would be tanned. That's the result now. if he had got the job, he didn't get the job, but if he had got the job in the past, he would be living in America now. That's the result in the present. Okay, so it's a real combination of the second and third conditionals, and yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Now, this lesson was going to be live. I've been going crazy today because I did 2 live events. They both failed because of technical reasons. I then recorded this for you. There was no microphone connected. This is the 4th time I've recorded this. I am dedicated to you. And I have a quiz for you. This was going to be an interactive quiz online. That's what I like to do online. It's quiz time. And anyway, it's not interactive, but I want you to write your answers in the comments below to this question. If I were you, I look for another job. If I were you, I look for another job. If you don't want to answer that question, I have 5 questions. Question number 2, you can answer 1 question in the comments, or you can answer all the questions in the comment. It's fine, and I will personally correct them for you. Question 2, if I had bought the house 15 years ago, I bought the house 1 year ago, but if I had bought the house 15 years ago, it cost me much more. It cost me much more. If you work so much, you would have more free time. If you work so much, you would have more free time. Again, write your answers in the comments. I will personally correct them for you. Question number 4. What do if you met Cristiano Ronaldo? All right, what you do if you met Cristiano Ronaldo? And finally, if she had called me, I answered. If she had called me, I answered. Okay, there you go. They are your 5 questions. I really hope you answer and give me some comments to reply to in the YouTube comments or on the Ola blog. Remember, I am from Online Language Academy. This is where we teach with native English teachers. We teach conversation classes via Skype, and we help you with your English fluency and English confidence. The first class is free, so go to onlinelanguageacademy.com and book your first class with us. All right. I hope you've enjoyed this class. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I look forward to giving you a new class, a new live lesson next week on YouTube and the Ola blog. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.